Hello, it's the start of another week. Welcome back to my little Welsh cottage here in the Rhondda Valleys of South Wales. It's lovely for you. I'm trying to up my water intake. So, to start off with a cup of tea. I'm going for the easy option and having a tea bag. I do still have the kettle and all that gubbins, but I really want to get on with the day today. Although I'm waiting for my food to be delivered. Something else I had delivered the other day were these. For doing my butter, because I will be trying to make butter again. And these are paddles. It's Monday, but for some reason I keep thinking that it's Tuesday. Yesterday, here in South Wales, was an absolutely glorious day. And in fact, it was a bit too hot. But I stayed in all day and did the washing. Although I did pop down to the homestead towards the end of the day. And it's nice to go there at different points of the day just to experience the space. But something I noticed 2 days ago this was. Now when you're a kid, sometimes as you get older, the memories distort. And over the last few years I've been speaking to people in London. And I started to think that this memory that I had was actually a false one. And the other day I was potching about the house here, and I realised that I was correct. So what a difference being in London and being in Wales is. And what I'm talking about is the time that the sun goes down. The other day it was 10:30 in the night and it was still light, which triggers the memory of being a kid and being out and about and still being out in the street at 10:30 in the night. And it didn't really go dark until about 11:15. And I remember saying this to people in London, and they were going, no, you think that is a false memory. But it's come back over the last few days, and I'm thinking, because June the 20th is the summer solstice, it must be this time, because obviously when the solstice happens, the daylight starts to shorten. So it must be these 2 or 3 weeks that I have a burning memory of being out in the street at 10:30 and the light still being out. So I don't think I'd have a problem if I lived in somewhere like Iceland, is it? Where they have the light 24 hours? Or is it Canada, the top end of Canada? I don't know. So it was a lovely experience. So what am I going to do today? Well, first of all, I'm going to wait in for my food. I then have to go down, and I'm going to go to the local high street for this. I want to get a broom, because when I was on the homestead yesterday, the chicken coop was now gone. But there's a lot of dust on the floor, so I want to get a broom in order to wipe the concrete to put the shed on. Now, whether the shed will go up today, it's a very nice day today, not as warm as it was yesterday, and I understand tomorrow it's going to rain. So it would be nice to put the shed up, but we'll just see how the day unfolds. But first of all, cup of tea. Oh, beautiful. First one of the day is always the best.
First one.
Oh, thanks. I don't know where this is going to go. The fridge is absolutely chock-a-block.
Amazing, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest
See ya. I remember the days when you bought stuff online, that when it came, they actually gave you the boxes as well. But these days, they just stand there and they wait for you to bring the stuff in. And then you've got to just dump it and go back and forth. Right. So we've got some cat food here. So that goes into the cat box there. I thought I'd try them on something a bit different. So I've got one of this, because they don't really eat biscuits. So I thought I'd give them this and see how they do with it. Oh, I haven't had time to sip my tea. Just as I was about to sit down, he came. Right, I thought I'd try this sourdough. I tried it many years ago and I didn't like it. So I've bought... In fact, which one is it now? Oh, the smell is gorgeous. I think it's that one. And just in case I didn't like it, I've just bought a normal brown. Oh, that's wonderful. I wasn't planning on having toast this morning, but I think I will now. And I love these kombuchas. It's all about the good gut. They're very gassy though, so I don't have too much. Oh, beautiful. Hey. Right, let's get these in the fridge. I like walking into the kitchen in the morning and seeing the sun coming through my plastic strips. It's like a poor man's stained glass. Typical, isn't it? The one thing I wanted to buy was a really big box of cat food. And that's the one thing they didn't send me. Because I do like, right, I don't know how I'm going to fill this. I bought myself some fish fingers the other day. And I don't know what's happened in the 30 years since I bought them, but they seem to have completely changed. The fingers have got thinner. And there's not a lot of fish in them. So I wasn't impressed. I think they probably changed the recipe for the breadcrumbs. And while they did it, I think they reduced the amount of fish that was in there. Right, I did try to bear in mind I didn't have a lot of space. An update on the freezer, that will come when funds allow. So that's on hold for the time being. 9 o'clock and all's well. Now what's in here? In these silky knicker bags. Ah, right. I remember. Look at that. A bag for another bag. They're throwing money away. Salmon. Wild salmon. It is wild. Better get it in that fridge. What else did I buy? Spinach. But this is... Right, that spinach might still be useful. Right, that cauliflower's gone. Quickly pull that out, throw that away. I'm having a bit of an issue with my fridge at the moment. I had a carrot that had gone to the back and it was absolutely frozen by the time I got it out. So I keep changing my settings to bring it down a bit. Oh, see? Where are these going? I don't know. I just don't want to throw food out, so everything is going to just have to be squeezed in. Although I do put that in the fridge. Do you put your broccoli into the fridge or do you just leave it out? I remember once in London, the fridge we had there was huge. And I'd push things to the back and completely forget that they were even there. I could feel my mouth starting to dribble with so much food because I'm actually quite hungry today. Because yesterday I didn't eat past 6 o'clock, so I did my first sort of fast just to reduce the amount of food. Where can I stick this? Hey. There you go. Okay, that cauliflower looks a bit yellow. Not impressed with that, I must say. But we will put that, where should we put that? And just pop it up there. I have decided as well that my kitchenette, I did try and bring it in here to see if it would fit and it just wouldn't. I have decided that I'm going to use it as a storage for my food. So things like this. I've got several tins of tuna. I'll put all the tuna in there and I'll just bring in one or two cans and keep them in here. Just to try and free up a bit of space. I bought some turkey rashers. I do love them. Of a morning with a breakfast. See, I was going to have a skier breakfast this morning. Now, although I am going to put a shed up, maybe, so I will be needing the energy. So maybe that is enough justification to have a cooked breakfast, which will be, well, I might show you if I go down that way. Now, in order to qualify for free delivery, I was about £2 short. So the only thing I could find that was cheap were Rich Tea biscuits, fingers. So I didn't want to buy them, but it worked out cheaper. And then typical, the one thing that I wanted, they didn't send. Do you have a biscuit tin? I've realised over these 6 months that I've been here that I'm developing a house which is a amalgamation of my childhood home and my grandmother's house and my cousin's house, because they always used to have a biscuit tin. Oh, let's hope these biscuits will all fit, because I don't fancy being forced to eat them this morning. There you go, look at that. If I ration myself to 4 a day, I think that is the way forward. And also, I've just realised I could have made a bit of a boo-boo, as they say. Hold on, let me just put my egg whites in here. Where are these going? Right, that... No, there's a tiny bit of... I still need to eat this grapefruit. That's been there since George was a lad. Right, let me just squeeze that egg white in there. I think I've made a bit of a boo-boo. I bought these breads. And very nice breads they are. But I haven't got a bread knife. The only knife that I've got is this. And I'll be here all day if I try and cut that. So, when I'm out and about today, I'm going to see if I can pick one up in the village. Now, I've also bought these kombuchas, and can you just leave them out? Or do they have to be... Oh, see? It's starting, the gas is coming. Oh. Or do they need to be put in the fridge? It doesn't say, but instinct says they need to be chilled. But where? Where are they going to go? I do not know. See, you don't get this content on the BBC, do you? Talking about the BBC, I have been loving the series Race Across the World. I've been watching it for quite a few years. And it is something that I would be interested in doing myself. But there's no friend that I've got that I'd want to spend 2 months solidly with. Right. Let's have a game of Tetris, is it? I can see it's not going to work even before I've even started. Right, so we've got 3 out. Now, where's this going to go? Oh, that's empty. Now it's full. I bet you're all sat there now going, oh, just put that there, change that around there, and then you'll have plenty of space. But the problem is, I can't hear you. Right, let's take the mushrooms out. And I can have them for my breakfast without the dirt. Just flick that off. And then maybe, see, where there's a will, there's an argument. Nearly there. I can feel it in my bones. Right, mint sauce, that doesn't have to be chilled, does it? That can just go in there. So I think we might have done it. Now this box seems a bit puffy to me, so I think the coconut oil, the coconut drink, oh no, it's still a bit useful. Right, I think I may as well just drink it. Oh, it's all go, and it's not even 10 o'clock. Oh. Right, by the power of video, this is my breakfast. There we go. And I'm going to eat this while I catch up with the latest John Rogers video. Because I've noticed he's just put a new one on. So I'll put a link to that. If you like walking videos, you'll certainly enjoy John. And I'll enjoy it over this breakfast. Beautiful. I'm trying to get into the habit of cleaning the cooker after I've used it. In the past, I've waited for it to cool down and then I've never gone back to it. I've just had an email saying that I've got a parcel due to turn up. Now, I don't have to be in, because I've got CCTV, so my phone will go off to tell me if somebody is at the house. And as they approach the house, it starts filming. So I think it must continually film all the time, because when I get the notification, I can see them walking down the path when the phone goes off. So it sort of rolls back to 5 seconds before the activation, and it's really good. And I know a lot of you have asked questions about the camera system I've got in the house, and also the camera system that I've got on the homestead. So I'll do a video about that coming up in the future. Another habit I'm trying to get into is washing the dishes after you've eaten, rather than letting them pile up and doing them at the end of the day or the start of the next day. But this parcel that I've got coming, I was watching Stephanie from the Chateau Diaries on YouTube, and she recently went to the Chelsea Flower Show, which I'm so out of the loop of things, I actually forgot that it was on. Because when I lived in London, I would usually go to Chelsea. I'd be invited to go on the first day. And once, I was invited to also go on a Thursday by a company to be on their stand and to just have a little private tour. And I couldn't get over how many people were at Chelsea. And you couldn't stand to have a look at the garden. You were being pushed. There were so many people. But on a Monday, it's nice and easy. It is press and celebrity day. So you can actually stand there. And also they allow you to go into the gardens and have a little look around. I remember I was stood there once watching this garden. And I had Theresa May, the Prime Minister, was stood on one side of me. And David Bellamy was stood on the other side of me. You know, that guy. Him. I don't know whether he's died since. But anyway, Stephanie from the Chateau Diaries, she went to Chelsea. And as she walked into the main tent where all the flower stalls are, she made a remark about how scented one of the roses was. And I think it was probably on the Harkness rose stand, that as she walked in, she was hit by the heady scent of a rose called Chandos Beauty. And she seemed so taken by this scent, I thought, you know what? I'm going to buy that. So I bought it. Unfortunately though, I saw it, I paid for it, and it was only afterwards I saw, because I'd gone straight to that page. If I'd gone to the front page, I would have seen that there was a discount code, so I could have got 20% off. But it's too late now. So I've got this rose coming called Chandos Beauty, which is supposed to be very heavy scented. Because if a flower hasn't got a scent, then does it really deserve to be in a garden? That's what I say. And that is for the homestead. So that will be the first flower to be planted. So if I could get my shed up today, that would be very handy. Right. So this is how I like to do my dishes. I know people criticised me the last time, but like I said in the comments, you don't see me go to the toilet on video. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. But this is how I would usually do my dishes. I'm just holding this up so it doesn't make too much noise on the microphone. So after I've cleaned everything, I like to give them a dip in cold water. And then I give them a little wipe with a tea towel before they go back into their cupboards. Now at some point, and I'm thinking about leaving this for a rainy day, I want to sort out my cupboards. Because I've been here now for 6 months. Hasn't time flown? Because I've been here for 6 months now, I just want to go through these cupboards and work out what I've got, because I've realised over the last few months a clear house is a clear mind, and I'm starting to like the minimalistic look in the living room there. So I will spend time going through it all. And if there's stuff that I've got, like I've just opened one of these cupboards, I haven't been in these two cupboards for months. So there's still stuff in there from London days that I haven't unpacked. And there's stuff to be kept for the winter. Look at that. That is an old water bottle. So things like this could go in the kitchenette to be stored. Do you also have a cupboard that is just full of bags? That's what this cupboard appears to be. Oh, it's all go, isn't it? There you go, and that's one of the mugs that you sent me for my birthday. Right, what else is there? Somebody made a comment. I need to fix this. There is a leak. I'm going to do a video as well talking about my bills. And the reason why I've delayed it is because the water bill, there was a bit of an issue with it. I contacted them for 5 months and they said you don't exist. And then all of a sudden, they then suddenly found me and they said you owe us £450, which is what the water is in this area. Although we're not on a meter here, which sounds expensive, but when I worked it out, it works out quite cheap. But what I'm going to do is, I can't remember if I've mentioned it on the videos before, but sometimes the water tastes absolutely disgusting. It tastes as if, and I used to know the guy that was in charge of the reservoir. Once a month, or once every few weeks or whatever, they put chemicals into the water to treat it before it comes out to the public. But you can taste it in the water for at least an hour or two. So if you hit that wrong point, and it happened to me the other day, I came down, I got the water, I went up to bed. In the middle of the night, I went to go and take a sip, and it tasted absolutely disgusting. But it's not just now. I remember my cousin complaining about it 25 years ago. So now that we've sorted the bills out, I found the button that says, would you like to complain about the taste? So I thought, right, I'm going to hit that button every time it happens and make a note of it. At least if they told us, right, the chemicals are going in at 11 o'clock every night, at least then you could sort of fill the kettle up like an hour before, and then by the time you wake up in the morning, it sorted itself out. But I've made food in the past with my slow cooker, which is currently in the cupboard. I made food in that. It had cooked all day, and when I went to taste it, I could taste this metallic stuff. And I don't particularly want to be going through life having to test the water before I make food or anything. Although, I must say, the worst water that I've ever seen was in Harrogate. I went up there for the summer show. You turn the tap on, and it was coming out yellow. no, not yellow. Orangey bronze. A rusty colour it was going out. And on that occasion, it wasn't good to see rust. Usually it is quite good to see old rust, but not on this occasion. Right. Oh, there's always something that you leave and you keep going. I'll do that. My steamer needs washing. This is the problem with having all these gadgets. There's more stuff to wash. Oh, that reminds me. I need to fill up my bottle. Is that the washing up liquid, or what's this one here? Because I like to buy in bulk. It works out cheaper. White wine. White vinegar. So that's not the one. This is it. I use this one. Eco-friendly washing up liquid with wild rhubarb and lemon. And also, to make it easier, I went to the expense of a funnel. So it makes it nice and easy to do. I wonder if you could put this in the bath as well. There you go. So I bought this when I moved in. And I think it might last me till the rest of the year. Right, is that going to get too full now? Because if you think, I've used all that in 6 months, which is only up to there. And I don't know if it does work out cheaper, but it just feels that it does. Right, careful now because I'm coming to the top. Don't want to waste any. There you go. Do you buy things in bulk? And then what I do is I just put the funnel, give it a rinse, and then I can use whatever residue is on the funnel. Or just, is that going to spill out? Oh, just about enough. There you go. Perfect. Right. 11:15. I need to get down the shops. I'm not planning to do my work until this evening. That's another thing I wanted to do. When you have anything in plastic, I like to just give it a burst so that it can breathe. Otherwise they go off a bit quicker. But I'm not impressed with this cauliflower that I've had. Look at it. Yellow, which means it's been in the sun. Which also means I will have to eat that sooner than later. One of the problems with working from home is the fact that it's very easy to forget about getting dressed. I like to leave my pegs on the line so I know where they are when I need them again. Oh, these are nice and dry. There's a bit of warmth in the air. There's also a bit of chill, so work that one out. I'll show you something in a moment. Look at this basket I got. When you come to collect the washing, there it is. And when you go back indoors, so we have some new entries for the board, and the first one is from Mrs. Curry, who I'm guessing is from Orkney. Then we have one from Jeanette and Stuart of Derbyshire. We then have one from Teresa, and she comes from, can you guess? Tunbridge Wells. And then we have a long distance one from Shirley in Canada. And now we've got two, but there's no names. They're from Rhyl and a place where I'm going to this summer. And again, no name for this person. Temby. Thank you very much for all your magnets. It's certainly starting to fill up now. But there's still lots more space. So if you want to send me a magnet, the address is in the video description below. My parcel's turned up. Now, I don't usually buy things that are recommended to me when it comes to flowers. I like to be there, I like to smell them myself. As they say, smell the roses. But I was recently watching Stephanie from the Chateau Diaries from Lalande in France. And she was at the Chelsea Flower Show. and she spoke so enthusiastically of a certain rose at the Chelsea Flower Show that I thought, do you know what? I'm going to buy one. So I've bought it myself. So I will link to her video in the video description below. And I've been to Chelsea, and to go into the main tent and smell all those flowers, it's a bit overwhelming because there's so much stuff going on. But she walked in and the first thing she said was, this flower has just hit me. So I thought, that's what I want. Because I think if a flower, especially a rose, if it hasn't got a scent, then it's not worth having it in the garden. And here it is. Now, I must say, I'm not really impressed by that. It's just a few twigs, and it's come from Harkness Rose, and the variety is called Chateau Beauty. And to be honest, I would expect a bit more for the price. It seems to be that what I've actually bought is a pot of compost. Chateau Beauty, a 3-litre pot. Yeah. And also, that is not in there very securely. I would have expected it a bit more secure. But anyway, this is going down to the homestead. So for the time being, see, it just looks a bit weak. Plus it's got a black spot, I think it's got. I would expect something a bit more robust for the money. But anyway, it's better than out. So I will take that down to the homestead when I go down there tomorrow. I've just gone back from the homestead and I've had a wash because my hands were filthy. But after I saw you last, I popped out to go and buy a carving knife so I could eat some bread. And I couldn't find one anywhere, and I didn't want to start running around the valley trying to find a knife, because I'm very much have that mentality of being in London, you don't want to be seen on a bus with a knife. So I've come back and I've bought one off Amazon, so it will turn up in a few days. But I'm going to have a go at cutting some of this bread off anyway with my small knife. And while I was in the village high street, I bought a brush, a full-size sweeping brush, and it was £5, which seemed a bit expensive to me. Look at all this flour on top. So I then took that to the homestead, and I didn't have the camera. I completely forgot to put the camera in my pocket. I think it's one of the first times I've done that. But being on the homestead, I have cameras there. Not because I don't think it's a safe place, but just to keep an eye on the wildlife, see what's coming, see what's going. And while I was on the homestead, I decided to clean up a bit. So the area is now clean. The corrugated iron's been put to one side. I'm going to sort out if there's any good panels that I could keep and possibly put on the roof of the shed. And if there isn't, then what I'm going to do is, we still have the rag and bone man. Comes around every few days. Although, typical. I've heard this guy going around in his van. Rag and bone, rag and bone, rag and bone. Now that I want him, I haven't heard him in days. Typical. So if there's anything that can't be used, I'll have a look if the rag and bone man wants to take it away for me. And I use the brush to brush the concrete, so it is all set now for the shed to go up. And I could have put the shed up today, but I really wanted to film it, and to be honest, I am out of puff. I feel like I've been to the gym. The muscles are starting to come back. Oh, look at all this flour. So hopefully the shed will be up in a few days. So I've managed to cut some sourdough bread, and if it's something I like, I will start to make it, but let's see. I must say, that is a lot better than I was expecting. Now, the last time I had sourdough was in Clapham, in London. And it was a cafe, as we would say, very poncy cafe. You went in, and if you wanted toast, you had to make it yourself. So you ordered your breakfast, but on the table, there was a toaster. So they just brought you the bread, and you could put it into the toaster and butter it yourself, and paid about £25 for the privilege of making your own breakfast. And I didn't like the sourdough then, but that is a nice loaf. So I'll see how I'll get on with the rest of it, and who knows, it could be how to make a sourdough loaf video coming up very soon. So it's been a very productive day today, and I'm feeling not exhausted, but content. I set out a task to be done, and the task has been completed. So by the end of this week, there will be a shed. And once the shed is done, then there'll be a kitchen, and in the kitchen will be a space for a nice cup of tea, and we'll get back to shed life. And I'm quite excited for it. Right, I'm going to eat my bread. I wonder if it will be good for toast. I'll try that later. And I'm going to have a nice cup of tea. So I will catch up with you next time. So thanks for joining me. Until then, bye for now. Beautiful.